I'm here with Robin, bass player and vocalist of Alastor. Thanks for coming by to the podcast, man.
Thank you.
You recently came out with the album on Writing Easy Records known as Onwards and Downwards. We're going to go ahead and discuss the album there in a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to see as far as where you come from, as far as what got you into music.
Well, I don't really know where to start because I've been interested in like listening to music, and I've been wanting to play music for as far as I can remember basically. But I suppose like I remember one time when I was like 9 or 10 years old, I walked past the guitar store and saw a cool BC Rich guitar, and I wanted to buy it just to hang on the wall, and I did. So that's what actually became me trying to learn the guitar and forming some bands with friends and starting to listening to heavier music. I've been in some bands prior to Alastor, but none that really has any significance today.
I know that before Alistair, you were actually in a band called Haoma. And
Yeah,
could you tell us about that a little bit?
well, I got in touch with an old friend of mine. His name is Stefan, and he was the first drummer of Alastor as well. And we formed like a yam based duo, like just drum and bass and vocals. We were heavily influenced by bands such as Ohm and Subrig Destroyer, and still like learning to actually play the bass more and more. We wrote some songs and well, basically spent the day smoking weed and jamming at our rehearsal space. Um, and I mean, a few months later, Hampus, our guitarist today, he actually wrote me a mail and asked if we knew any bands that needed a guitarist because he split up with his uh, previous band, and I was like, yeah, you can come play with us, and he did, and that's how we started. I think if I remember correctly.
So, like, basically, Haoma was kind of like a two-piece outfit.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it
right.
was.
See, I always liked that kind of thing because when I grew up in the 90s, I listened to Godhead Silo. They were
Ah,
like
cool.
real underground American band in the 90s during the whole indie scene at that time.
Yeah,
And they did the exact same thing, did an electric bass and the drums. And it was so freaking mind blowing that you couldn't even tell it was two dudes. So,
yeah, and that was really the goal for us in the beginning because we didn't really want a guitar, but then again, I because I had absolutely no clue how to play drums, so I basically handed all those parts to Stefan, and he handed the parts of the songwriting and the lyrics and everything to me, and I kind of missed like having someone to actually like have back and forth ideas with and come up with like riffs and try them out in different ways. So that's why I wanted to try a guitarist, and I'm really glad I did because I think we actually we had more fun as a four piece.
after leaving Haoma, as far as Alistair, how did all of it come about? Just the stylistic journey as far as leading up to the new album.
Well, I think we started like we had some darker songs with more of an occult theme that didn't really fit within the Heoma roster. So we tried them out and like played them under a new name. And basically, our first goal was just to record an EP basically and put it out on Bandcamp or whatever for people to download for free. So we did and left it there basically, and then we were contacted by an old label of ours, which I don't really want to mention the name on because I have nothing good to say about them basically.
No, that's
Uh,
fine.
yeah, and they contacted us back then, and then they asked us if we wanted to release our EP on vinyl, and we were like, yeah, that would be cool because I hadn't released anything on vinyl in my whole life before that. So we did, and we played some live shows. We got a pretty good response, and then eventually Writing Easy Records wrote to us and said, if you guys want to work together, you know where to find me. And we really and we really did wanted to work together.
I was gonna say, Writing Easy, they have a pretty good roster actually. I
Yeah,
take it that you guys have a good relationship then?
we have a really good relationship. I have only good things to say about Daniel and Writing Easy. Uh, we met in person once, and he's uh, he's a really cool dude. I really love him.
So now here we are with Onwards and Downwards, your current album. Could you tell us as far as the songwriting process and how that all came about?
Well, I think the songs like developed over a long time. I guess that's what everyone would say, but
Hmm.
it's actually the case. Most of the songs on this album were actually finished by the time of the release of our previous album, Slave to the Grave.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but this time we took the time to actually rehearse the songs and like have the time to be able to change them for the better, like cut out a piece that didn't really need to be there and so on, as well as we took the time to do a pre-recording this time, so we actually could hear the songs and listen to them and change stuff before we actually did the final recording. And I think this turned out to be like a concept album as our last one, but a different concept, obviously. And that wasn't really the meaning from the start, but it just turned out that way.
For people that might not get it, what is the actual concept for the album?
I would say the concept is like descending into madness, more or less, in lack of better words. I think all four of us were in different stages of dark places when writing the album, both lyrically and melodically. So I suppose that's what shines through.
Definitely. That's one of the cool things about this album and Slave to the Grave and even Black Magic is that you can definitely feel the energy coming through.
Yeah, that's it's nice to hear someone else say it, because that's what I always wanted. I wanted to, like, I don't know, be able to make people feel what I feel when they listen to music that I play. I don't know really.
So, what would be your favorite track on the album?
I would say one of my favorite tracks is well, I like the lyrics the most on the title track. But I would say the funniest track to actually play live would be Nightmare Trip or Dead Things in Jars, because uh, the latter is a really uh, I mean it's drawn out. It has like these huge spaces for jam sessions and to jam on a certain riff and like extend it beyond what it is on the recording. It's a really fun track to play, and it's really heavy, and I'm really looking forward to be able to play it in front of an audience.
So, and so actually, like you're talking about being in dark places and everything, and I always wanted to ask this: how the fuck did you come up with the song "Gone"?
Well, I don't really remember exactly how I wrote the lyrics, because they just came. I mean, usually I wake up in the middle of the night and I have like this rhyme or this section of a lyric or whatever, and I write it down, and then the next morning I look up in my notes and I see this. But I remember uh, the the part in the end, the surfy part.
Yes.
Uh, that was a tune that actually has been sticking with me ever since I was really young. Perhaps 6 or 7 years old. I've been like, I remember trying walking around and like whistling it on my way to school, because I kept hearing it in my head, and during the years I just like, I never recorded it. I just gave it more thoughts, and I was like, oh, the bass should go like this, or the drums should go like this, or I like built it up in my head. And I had to convince the other guys to actually put it in the song because I really wanted it to be there. I think it came so natural for this track, and I was like, just trust me on this one. Let me record this, and then you can listen to it, and then we can decide if we want to keep it or if we just want to cut the track there.
Right.
So I recorded it, and they listened to it, and I remember Hampus. He was hugging me and telling me I was a genius, and I don't really agree, but I mean I think it fits the track. Um, and as I said before, I mean I guess I was in a dark place back then as well when we released the other album. But I mean, it's continuously it comes and goes.
Whenever you come out with a song or an album or everything and you listen to it over, is it like therapeutic on any level? Like you feel like you just got this energy out?
Yeah, all the time. I think it's if I wasn't able to play music or write songs, I don't know if what I would do actually to get this out. I know it sounds very cliche, but I actually put a lot of thought in the lyrics and in the overall feel of the songs because I really want to like communicate the feeling that I have when I write something. I I have I have a need to do that.
So, for all the gearheads out there, what kind of gear did you use for the album?
We used for rhythm guitar we used a Sun Model T second generation. I think it's from 1976 if I'm correct.
Nice.
Uh, and for leads and bass, we used the vintage Matt Amp GT120. Uh, and drums, don't ask me about that because, as I said, I don't know anything about drums, but his uh,
Yeah,
his kick drum is really huge.
yeah, definitely brings out that sound for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I really like it.
So, speaking of the occult, like you did earlier, as far as the theme for Alistair, when did you exactly get involved with the occult, and like, what's your favorite aspect of it currently?
I think I have. Well, I can only speak for myself, but I would say that I've always had like an interest for it, even ever since I was a small kid. I I mean, the older I get, the more I realize that I am not like any other person out. I can't relate to people. I can't relate to what people are enjoying in their lives, and hence I always like read books when I was young. I locked myself in, and I would like fantasize about different worlds and all the scary stuff I could come up with within my head, and that's basically a fascination for the dark, as well as I spent my youth years like watching horror movies and all that kind of stuff, and all of these things. I think it's just stuck with me up in adulthood. I am more or less the same person as I was when I was 13. I don't know if that's a good thing to say, but I mean
It's what
that's
it
how it
is.
is. Yeah, it really is.
So, actually, now I'm thinking about it. What was the first horror movie you ever saw?
Suspiria.
Suspiria?
Yeah.
I don't know that one. I'll have to look that
Oh,
up.
yeah. It's Dario Argento. I could really recommend it. It's an old classic.
I was gonna say mine was Evil Dead actually when I was like 10 years old because it
Oh, I
used to
love it.
come. I used to come on the local cable station like at 3 in the morning, and I would always stay up to watch it.
I love it. It's amazing. I actually I remember being very very young when I saw the Hellraiser movies as well, and they scared me totally shitless. I had nightmares for years and years, but I still wanted to like keep watching them and watching them all over again because I thought they were so cool, but at the same time I was terrified of them.
Oh yeah, I got that off Nightmare on Elm Street when I very first saw it when I
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
kid, and
yeah.
it was like a family get together, and they saw it, and like they tried to get us to go in the other room, but I would be in the kitchen watching behind everybody,
Oh,
and
that's
I
cool.
had
That's cool.
nightmares for a month. Whenever I slept in my bed, I slept all crouched up with my knees to my shoulders so my
Yeah,
bed
yeah.
wouldn't suck me in.
I understand that, but it was worth it though.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
So now that the pandemic has been basically wrapping up here worldwide, is there any kind of touring plans, or what kind of plans do you have going forward?
We don't have any plans really for the moment, other than having some form of release party for onwards and downwards whenever it is safe to actually go and watch gigs again. Um, I mean, I know we had some thoughts and some ideas. I think we spoke to some people about some festival gigs or whatever, but it wasn't anything set in stone. So I mean, we try to keep an open schedule. But with that said, we can't really wait to actually get out and play again. I feel like this is gonna be like the first time I was on a stage. Uh, I'm 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 really excited for the next time. It's been so long since.
Mm. So you guys, you're not even open up enough yet to play gigs?
No, not yet, but I think they were gonna lift the restrictions. I think 1st of July or sometime around that,
Oh,
and
okay.
they were gonna make it like available for outdoor gigs or stuff like that again. Um I really hope so because I see more and more like they are announcing new gigs in August and September and all that.
Oh yeah, actually, in Texas, here in America, High on Fire played last weekend,
Oh,
and then
cool.
and then
That's
Yob
good.
played over in Australia the same night.
Yeah, yeah. That's really good news.
Yes, so I mean it's coming along, definitely. Um, so speaking of which, what was your favorite gig that you did?
I have a pretty boring and obvious answer to that one, and I would say that was when we were opening for Electric Wizard at Nalen in Stockholm.
Oh
Uh,
wow, no, that's not boring
yeah,
at all, man.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but it was a really large gig. I think there were over like 600 people on the list, as well as I remember before I started playing music myself, I actually saw Electric Wizard on the very same stage, and I was thinking like I'm never gonna be on such a stage with this band or with a band like this one. And now I've been up on the very same stage with the very same band that I were to saw that time. So it was really huge for, well, I would say all of us. A really cool gig, and it actually went really well as far as I remember. Um, it would just have been a typical time to fuck something up, but we didn't, and that was cool.
Awesome. Were they cool to hang out with, or
Yeah, yeah, of course.
right
Uh,
on? I don't hear too much about them as far as like as people. I know that they stay pretty low key, but what I have heard is that they were really cool to work with and everything.
yeah, I didn't get any bad vibes from any one of them. Uh, and I can't really remember who played the bass in Electric Wizard back then, but well, I think it was Clayton Burgess from Satan Satyrs, which is one of my other absolute favorite bands. But
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
sure. I can't really remember if it was before he quit or if it was right after.
right on. Speaking of Satan Satyrs, like what other kind of bands are you into, and is there any kind of albums you're looking forward to that are going to be coming out?
Well, I listen to a lot of different music. I would say I just got out of a pretty serious like Italo disco period. Uh,
Oh my
for real.
God, did you listen to Amanda Lear?
No, I haven't heard of her.
That's like she's like a 70s French Italian disco. You know, she was like really popular like at that time and
Sounds
came
like
out with.
something I would love.
Yes, definitely. I'll send you a link because
Yeah.
she came out with this single called "Follow Me," which is it's basically a song about Satan saying "Follow me."
Oh,
So,
seriously?
and it
Oh,
yes,
you gotta link that to me. I really want to hear it. I love bands like Koto and like Modern Talking, obviously. So yeah, I listen to a lot of different music, but I would say we have a band from the same city as we are from. They're called the Dahmers, that I would really deeply recommend for everyone. Um, that's one of my absolute favorites, as well as the Swedish band Ball. They're pretty anonymous, so but also very well worth a listen.
right on ball, as in
Yeah,
BHAL.
yeah.
Awesome. All right.
No, no,
So,
wait. Ball. Yeah.
oh,
Sorry.
ball. Okay, like beach
Ball. Yeah,
ball. Okay,
exactly.
I was
I
thinking of
didn't catch
I was thinking of the demon ball.
it. Yeah, yeah. Perhaps
So,
that's the name of my next band. Yeah.
there you go. So, all right. Thanks for joining us. And
Yeah.
again, onwards and downwards. Go find it on Writing Easy Records. I actually just bought the red one today. I wish I would have had the money for the unlimited or the ultra one at the time, but I was still happy to get the red one. That was my Father's Day gift. So,
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
yes, not a problem, man. So, yeah, definitely in the future we should do this again sometime. You have yourself a nice evening.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. It was really nice.
Anytime, man. Anytime. You take care, man.
Yeah, you too. Bye.